What's going on, everybody? Today I'm here at my secondary setup. Got a lot of history stuff. Spaceship Earth there, though. History guy. Don't blame me. Disney decided to drop a bombshell of announcements on a random Tuesday. So I'm going through my socials, and then I see WDI post their new test track sign. I'm like, oh, cool, looks good. And then, like an hour and a half later, they post the bombshell news, and it's new Cars concept art, Rivers of America, Liberty Bell, Tom Sawyer Island will be closing permanently on July 6th, and July 7th, you won't be able to experience them anymore. So I'm actually going down this weekend. I'll be there the whole weekend for the closing of Muppet Vision. That was my favorite show at Walt Disney World. No idea why they're taking it away. I think it's a terrible decision. A ton of other places could have been monsters, but no, you decided to put it right at Muppet Vision. So I've just accepted at this point. They're taking over Rock and Roller Coaster, but this video is mostly about Rivers of America, so we're going to talk about that, all right? So let's get right into it. So they released a new piece of concept art, and it shows a lot of what's going to be happening in this new area, and you can actually line it up with Frontierland. And I don't think it's going to be as bad as people say. I actually think it'll be a decent land. Yes, it's replacing the Rivers of America, but I'm not nearly as upset about this as they are about Muppet Vision. But what I see in this concept art is that, yes, they're taking out 90 to 95% of the river, but it looks like they're actually leaving a good 10% of it there over by where the Country Bears is, Diamond Horseshoe, the Riverboat Station. There's like a little river there. I guess it's like a river stream, and it has some waterfalls and stuff. And then they're going to leave that little boardwalk that's currently there, so you can still walk along it. I'm going to assume there'll be construction walls all up in front of that come July 7th. But I'm happy they'll be leaving a little bit of that kinetic energy there because, of course, it is a huge river. It does make the area a little cooler, and it just looks good from when you're in line on the Haunted Mansion that you can still look down at a river and stuff and not a bunch of cars. So it's good that they're splitting off Liberty Square and the main area of Frontierland from the Cars area. But I think the whole aesthetic of the Cars area will still look really good. It's going to be called Piston Peak. They have their own original character they've came up with based off someone from old Disney cartoon. I don't know his name, but I just remember seeing that. And then there's a lot of buildings in this concept art, and I said this in multiple videos. I talked about this in a vlog. I did a whole separate video on this land, and in both videos I said that the buildings look like the same aesthetic as Wilderness Lodge Pacific Northwest, and this is no different. They have the same aesthetic as the Wilderness Lodge, as is themed to the Pacific Northwest, and there's a lot of stuff you can see in it. Geysers, snowy mountains, the woods. So it does fit the theme of Frontier very good, per se, in terms of the nature aspect of it. So I think sightlines won't be an issue here, and I think that'll be all good. And then apparently you won't be able to like hear the cars and stuff from around the whole park. Like over at Epcot, you can hear Test Track all the way from the Land Pavilion. But, you know, I do gotta say this, with the Liberty Bell, I remember staying up in the Contemporary, and you could hear this thing all the way from the Contemporary. Liberty Bell is one loud boat, but that'll be gone come July 7th. And then there's one building all the way in the back of the concept art in like the land, and it looks very similar to the current building that's on Tom Sawyer Island, the mill building. So maybe they're going to keep some stuff around from Tom Sawyer Island. Who knows? But I gotta say, it looks very similar to that building. So let me know in the comments below what you think about that. And then how this is going to affect Magic Kingdom. Well, as we know, there's going to be a Villains Lane behind this. So they are going to be closing down half of the Walt Disney World Railroad for a few years. Obviously, we had the whole thing down for 4 years because of Tron, and I don't think Disney wants to close the whole railroad down again for another 4 years, as they just got it back open. So apparently the Frontierland station will be closed, and they'll be running a train back and forth between Fantasyland and Main Street, and Imagineering's going to put some seats that are facing backward or seats that flip on the passenger cars, so guests that don't want to ride backwards can either flip their seats or sit in a seat that's facing backwards, which I think is a very good idea. I'm very happy that the railroad won't be closing forever. Now, is this going to be anywhere near the type of ride that the full lap is? No, it's not going to be nearly as long as that, but it's still there and it's still going to take up capacity from guests and stuff. With the Frontierland station all the way to the Fantasyland station part of the railroad closing, that means that the railroad and the Liberty Boat, that will be the last time you'll ever be able to get a view of the nature and Native American scenery at the back end of the Rivers of America, because I'm sure that's all going to be ripped out when Villains Land comes, because that's definitely going to occupy that space. So if you want to see that one more time, make sure to take a ride on the Liberty Bell or the Walt Disney World Railroad. So that's what's happening there. And then over at Muppet Vision, the last day you'll be able to experience it is June 7th, so a little over a month, or a little under a month before the Rivers of America closes. So they're closing around the same time, and I'm guessing these two new projects will open around the same time, probably. Muppet Vision, it's unlike any show at any theme park that's ever been made. No other show in theme park history uses screens, 3D effects, animatronics, costume characters, physical effects, practical effects like the bubbles, water spritzers. It's just unlike any other show, and I hope it comes back in some form someday. I don't know, maybe it'll take over the Villain show once Villains Land opens. I'd be open to that. So I'm going to be going down to see that one more time, and I got nothing to say about this. June 7th is the last day we'll be able to see this on Saturday, and I'm going to be there on the 7th in Hollywood Studios, and I'm assuming that it's going to be all-out chaos. There's probably going to be a bunch of content creators there and just a bunch of people that are going to want to see the show, and it's just one of those shows where every part of the experience is cool, from the queue and all this stuff in the theater, and then the show itself. There's just nothing like it, and the whole area is going to go, so happy I'll get to see that one more time. And then I'm going to do like a documentary style video on Muppet Vision. I was actually editing it, but I'm now going to have to take some time off that to do this video, but that should be releasing around the time of the show's closure. I'm planning on doing some footage inside the park for that film, so we'll be releasing that at some point. And yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say for this video. A lot of stuff's happening in Disney theme parks, more than you'd think at the moment. There's not going to be much new stuff outside of Test Track this summer, and outside of Test Track, there's not a lot of new stuff coming until probably early 2026 with the refurbished Big Thunder Mountain, and other than that, who knows what the future holds for the parks. So with that, hope you all have an amazing day. God bless. Hopefully I can see some of you guys down in Hollywood Studios for the Muppet Vision closure. But yeah, God bless, and I'll see y'all next time.